With new chapters having been added, it's time to get back into covering the lore of Alchemy Stars. So let's dive into what we experienced in Chapter 3. After receiving a sudden message through telepathy, Navigator managed to finally wake up after passing out. Sharon and Vice were talking about how Undercity 28 is completely buried under, and Navigator has set himself a new goal to achieve. Find Scummer and find out what really happened the day Aeroville was attacked. Then Navigator again received a call from help in his head, another surviving Calistite calling out to him. A surprising turn in events, as we believe Navigator was the only survivor left of his race. Knowing the boy was in some danger, Navigator immediately decided to set out to help him. While Vice hesitated, Sharon mentioned how there was a proper way to do things within Illumina, and that Commander Hero was on her way to their location. That is until Navigator and Sharon decided to put on an act. Confused at first, Vice decided to join in on the charade, and seeing Navigator set out to save the mysterious Calistite. Almost immediately after they left, Sharon got confronted by Hero, who wasn't exactly all too happy about the sudden decision they made without her approval. And after talking with Vice and Navigator through the communicator, she began to up and follow where they were headed. In order to find the Calistite, Navigator and Vice had to first find Avidus, as was the name mentioned by the boy. Among all the Colossi owned by the Calistite race, Avidus is said to be among the best of them, superior in both size and functions compared to the others. The only Colossus made with offensive power. Because of its overwhelming presence, the connection with Hero got cut off, and they decided to land and face head-on with some incoming Eclipsites. As that was happening, Scummer was confronting the boy who he was trying to save. His name was Mendelsohn. Scummer's goal was to power up Avidus even further with 3 devices: the Think Tank Module, Autonomous Growth Unit, and Flame Control Module. The Think Tank Module is a device that holds tons of information and knowledge, both with Calistite and Orion history. And with it, Scummer will be able to find the other 2. The Anomalous Growth Unit will help make a Colossus bigger than it already is, and the Flame Control Unit will help give it greater offensive power. With these 3 devices together, Avidus will be complete and become far stronger than it currently is. With that, Scummer plans on taking the Think Tank module that's in Mendelsohn's possession, but he doesn't plan on giving it to her easily, as his guardians Felix and Vanny comes to protect him. These 2 are ancient guardians built from Calistite technology, made to be guards as part of Mendelsohn's Colossus. But Scummer wasn't phased at all, as he out and took over control of both of them with ease, leaving Mendelsohn no choice but to run as he sent them out to chase him. On the other side, Vice and Navigator was pushing their way through tons of Eclipsites. While keeping in touch with Mendelsohn through telepathy, they finally managed to meet up with one another, but they couldn't relax yet, as Felix and Vanny was right behind, forcing them to engage in battle. In the effort, they were able to defeat the both of them. Saddened by the loss of his former comrades, Mendelsohn tells them about how Scummer plans to steal the Think Tank module from his Colossus. Knowing nothing good can come out of it, they decide to go back and stop her, pushing past any Eclipsite that they run into. Although they decided to stop Scummer, Mendelsohn still had his doubt. He was never anybody that you could call brave, and always ran when his life was in danger. So he asked Navigator why confronting an enemy he has no chance of defeating. Navigator states he wants to know why the events of 17 years ago occurred. Being the last member of his race, he wants to take her down no matter what it takes. Mendelsohn, touched by this determination, also wants to assist in taking her down. They decide to hurry along while facing an incoming Eclipsite. As that happened, Scummer had nabbed the module, but couldn't immediately access it due to there being an encryption. The mysterious figure called out to her again, saying she needs to hurry up and return. After some back and forth, Scummer decided to leave dealing with our crew to another high-level Eclipsite, Tabad. Navigator and the others arrived at where the Think Tank module was at, only to be greeted by Tabad as Scummer was nowhere to be seen. As they confronted him, Tabad started to tempt Navigator into joining the Eclipse, but Mendelsohn prevented him from doing so. With the will and after a tough battle, it seemed like they was getting the upper hand. However, Tabad was looking to unleash one final huge attack. While preparing themselves, everyone was saved by the sudden appearance of Hero, completely destroying Tabad. Though I said that, it wasn't his real body, but just a clone of his, and we'll most likely see him again in the future. Meanwhile, as they managed to win, Mendelsohn's body started to give out. In order to survive 17 years ago, he took on the power of darkness within him, and now after all this time, he was finally starting to give out. With his remaining strength, Mendelsohn mentions how Scummer needs the 3 units to fully complete Avidus, and once he dies, the Think Tank module she currently holds will self-destruct, forcing her to go after the one that's currently in Lumopolis. After a touching talk, Navigator has Sarah's mind link with Mendelsohn so that he can see the sky in his last moments, being able to go at peace with the thought that he got the last laugh against Scummer. Over on the other side, the Think Tank module currently in her possession blew up, making Scummer go into a fit of rage, but she was still able to get enough information to know that another Think Tank module was within Lumopolis, making it their next target. We move to an unknown location within Lemopolis as we see two guards who was on duty, and as they was talking, another person who seemed to be the captain guard came and had to move, but unbeknownst to them, he was actually a spy working for the Eclipse, looking to steal the module. And that brings us to the end of chapter 3. What ended up being a much more emotional chapter, starting to slowly get more clues about the ones responsible for Everville's destruction, as well as what is it they're after. The story really becomes better with each chapter. I have felt for Navigator and Mendelsohn a bit going through this one. And right now, we're making our way to Lemopolis in order to stop them from achieving what they want. Anything's here for now. I hope to see you next time as I talk about the events of chapter 4.